Fellas, the females are starting to lower the standards. Hooray! I guess the whole, I want a man that makes at least 100,000 a year, man, drives a Benz. I guess they're starting to realize that that's not the norm, that the normal guy just can't afford to provide them with that kind of lifestyle. So they're starting to lower their standards to 50% of that, right? So that's a move in the right direction. Let's listen to this chick and her new standards to find a man. This is good. This is good news, guys. It's getting easier, but for a lot of you dudes, it's still hard, and you're about to find out why.
I just want a man that makes at least $50,000 a year, drives Toyota or Honda is fine, dates maybe once a month. It's all I want. Movies is okay. I don't know why it's so hard for me to find a man.
I'm going to tell you something, girl, man. Now, those standards are very realistic to a guy who's in his late 20s. You know what I'm saying? To 30s. Yeah. $50,000 a year, drives a Toyota or a Honda, right? If you're an 18, 19, 20-year-old dude, if you're under the age of 25, chances are you're still not making 50 grand. Yo, women nowadays just have absolutely no idea how much money people actually make in America. You know, when the whole red pill movement, made it popular to be a high value man and make six figures and do all this nonsense, right? So the females, they're hearing this shit too. So they're like, hey, I want a guy that makes 100,000, right? At least, right? $250,000, maybe 400,000 or 500,000, right? They've been out there and they're realizing like, damn, they ain't really that many guys out here, right? And when they do find one, they realize that these guys are just hitting it and quitting it and passing around to the homies, toasting them to the side. So they probably realizing now in 2024, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm being too aggressive. Maybe I'm expecting too much, Let me lower my standards by 50%. Guys, can y'all at least make 50 down? She looks young. She looks in her early 20s. She's like, can y'all at least make 50 grand? 50 grand in a Honda? That's it? You can't even do that? No, they can't even do that, man. You got to give a man time to grow. It's not easy to make $50,000 a year. Even with inflation, even in this economy, it's hard to make $50,000 a year. And the people that are making it, so if you work in corporate America and you're making 50 grand a year, you should expect to take work home at some point. Think about that for a second. 50,000, that doesn't sound like a lot. Right? It doesn't sound like a lot when you say it, but when you got to go out there and earn it, believe me when I tell you, 50 grand is very difficult to make unless you go into the trades, right? But then you're still working 10, 12-hour days a lot of the times. Yeah, I think that things are taking a turn in the right direction. But I also think that this is motivated by the fact that a lot of men are just not dealing with women anymore because they're tired of all these crazy expectations that they have. Like they feel like a dude is supposed to be 18, 19, 20 and be a millionaire. It's like, nah, that's not a reflection of reality at all. It's hard to make money. It's really hard. And it takes a very driven individual, man, to get up to 50, 60 grand. If a man touches 60 grand, he's a hard worker. That's a man that's focused. That's a man that has tunnel vision. Making 60,000 a year is hard, people. It's hard. So maybe perhaps the females are starting to realize, hey, if I want a man, I'm going to have to really lower my standards because all I really got to offer is what's in between my legs. A lot of these women nowadays, they're not cooking, they're not cleaning, they're not trying to be a housewife, they're not trying to be a stay-at-home mom, they're not trying to do none of these things. They want a guy that's going to take them out and have fun with them. That's all they want. So they're not really bringing anything to the table. Right? And a man will be willing to do those things for his woman as long as she's willing, to maintain his home, take care of his kids, and do all of the mommy duties, right? The traditional role of a woman. So I'm going to tell you something right now, ladies. Lowering your standards financially, yeah, that's not going to help your situation. It's not going to help your situation at all, man. Nothing's going to change. These dudes are still not going to deal with you, man. Yo, at one point, these girls are going to be like, yo, I just want a man that makes $25,000 a year and has at least a bicycle. You know what I'm saying? I'll get on the pegs. And the guy's going to be like, nope, if you're not going to be my wife, if you're not going to take care of my home, if you're not going to take care of my children, if you're not going to submit to me, if you're not going to respect me, I don't want you. Yeah, that's what it's going to end up turning into. Man, nowadays, especially young men, they just don't want to deal with females, man. Females are too aggressive. They're too masculine. They demand too much. They expect too much. And they're not really giving anything in return, right? Because at the end of the day, what do men want? What do men really want? They want to be respected. They want to be fed. And sex. That's it. Food, sex, and respect. Those are the only three things that a man wants. And they're all free. To respect somebody, that's a free thing. You don't got to pay for that, right? He's bringing the food for you to cook, right? and to spread your legs open. I mean, you're already doing that in the streets. You know what I'm saying? You're already doing that in the streets, man. You can't do that for your husband, father, your kids. So, ladies, man, y'all got a rough 5 years ahead of y'all. Yeah, it's going to get real ugly because I speak to the young generation. None of them are dealing with girls. They're not interested in dating. They're not interested in marriage. A lot of them don't want to have kids. And at the end of the day, can you really blame them when they see how their female counterparts are behaving and how disgusting a lot of the behaviors that they're engaging with? A lot of them are abusing drugs, alcohol. They're always partying, sleeping around, and they're seeing this. They're seeing this on Instagram. They're seeing this on TikTok. They're seeing it on Snapchat. They're seeing it all over the internet. And it's like, damn, like, I really like that girl. She's a nice girl. She's a pretty girl. I would like to make her my girlfriend. But how? How am I going to make this girl my girlfriend when she's out here in these streets? I can't commit to somebody like that, man. I'm trying to do the right thing, man. I'm trying to work on myself, build myself, so I can find myself a good woman to marry, have kids with, and live a happy life. But how am I going to commit to a chick that's out there in the streets getting drunk, doing drugs, and just partying? So, yeah, ladies, I'm glad that y'all starting to lower your standards. But lowering your financial standards is not enough, man. Y'all need to find God again. Y'all got to find Jesus, man. It's the only way. And I don't mean like those women that touch 30 and are single and all of a sudden they find God. Because, the craziest thing about a lot of women that choose to live that party life is that when they start to touch about 27, 28, they start to realize, oh my God, like, one, the biological clock starts ticking. So the conscience starts messing with them. Their biology starts to mess with them, right? So it's like, damn, I got to have a baby, right? But I don't got a man. And the men they want don't want them because those dudes are just trying to have fun still, right? Because men and women, we're not aging the same. Dudes can bullshit for a very long time. I don't recommend it, right? There's consequences to that too. There's a lot of negative consequences with a man getting up in age, just bullshitting all the time. You feel me? That man too will struggle finding a good woman to marry. You understand what I'm saying? But it affects women more because of the biological clock. So a lot of these women, they touch 28, 29, 30, they start to get nervous and they just end up settling with any dude. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden they want to find God. Then they want to start going to church. Then they want to start praying, right? Because they realize that that's what men wanted all the time. They just want a traditional woman who's not out there. But it's like it's a little too late. A lot of the times it's a little too late, man, and they just end up settling with whatever dude they can find. And that's why a lot of women are getting divorced. A lot of women are not happy in their marriages, and a lot of women are destroying their families. Because you got to understand, one of the most difficult things for a human being to do, right, is marry somebody that they don't really like. They don't like the personality. They don't like the way they act. They don't like their sense of humor. They don't like nothing about the person. Men can deal with it much better than women because men are used to getting the short end of the stick in life their entire life, right? So them settling with a woman that they don't really like, but you know what? Hey, a woman is a woman, at least I got one, right? That's how a lot of dudes think. But females, on the other hand, it drives them absolutely insane when they're with a guy that they can't respect, they don't like, and they know themselves that the only reason they settled with him is because they wanted to start a family, they wanted to have their babies. So, yeah. I mean, ladies, the Broskees' advice to you is you need to leave the streets. Yeah, and I don't mean go hit the streets for a few years and then leave. No. You gotta completely avoid that stage in your life. You don't gotta have a whole stage. You do not have to have a whole stage. These men coming up nowadays are not dealing with it. They ain't dealing with it. They'd rather be in the room playing video games all day, right? If they needed to get one off, they go on the hub. Right? And then it's like, all right, I don't got to deal with no batshit crazy women harassing me and stressing me all day, finding out that she slept with one of my boys or somebody from the block or the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, that's your girl, bro. It's like, oh no, don't tell me that. What do you mean that's your girl? Everybody knows what follows after that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, fellas, the financial standards are being lowered. That's a good thing. But the moral standards, that's really what the men want. So ladies, if you know what's good for you, now you know what it is that you have to change. Peace.